Good evening and welcome to Poets Pause. My name is Marilyn Klimshaw. I'll be your host for this evening. I want to start out by reminding everybody about First Thursday with Burke's Bards in the Goggle Works. That's at 6 o'clock and goes to about 8 o'clock every first Thursday of the month. It's an excellent place to meet new poets, to try out your work because there is an open mic, and we usually have a featured reader. And tonight my guest is Aries Franklin Ortiz, known as the Smiley.
The Poet Smiley.
The Poet Smiley.
Poet Smiley.
She is a very outgoing person, and I'm proud to say that she's offered to be a co-host on this program as well. Newsflash. Aries, would you share some of the open mic venues that you are familiar with in the area so that our audience gets a wider taste than Burke's Bards?
Absolutely. So, of course, we have Burke's Bard. After Burke's Bard, I go to Nitro Open Mic. That is every first and third Thursday of the month. And theirs are late. They start at 9 p.m. and they're often done around 11 p.m., 12 a.m.-ish. On every Wednesday, Legacy Cigar Lounge also has open mic night. I believe that starts around 8 p.m. It's really nice. It's a really nice facility. I went for the first time the other day, and I was just like, oh, this is beautiful. The Goggle Works just started Soil and Stage. Soil and Stage. They just started that one. That one is going to be every first and third Thursday, did we say?
Yes.
First and third Thursday of the month.
6:30 to 8:30?
6:30 to 8:30. So those are the places that will be, for the most part, that's what I'm doing around the city right now. Every Wednesday and Thursday, I'm somewhere.
Well, and you have been in Reading your whole life?
Yes, outside of college, yes.
Yes, and graduate of Reading High in 2003?
Yes.
And you describe yourself as a wordsmith and a dreamer and have a passion for storytelling.
Yes.
Would you tell us something about what that passion is and where that developed?
So I've always been really, really big on storytelling. I love a good book. I will throw myself into a book, and I kind of see my life as a story. We are all creating our own personal story. So that's where my poetry comes from. It's little bits and pieces of the story of my life. Majority of my poetry is based on a true story. So that's where that all comes from, and it's been since I was little. I've always been the daydreamer, the one you have to like, hey, come back. I'm just off, slaying dragons in my mind and stuff like that. So that's really where that comes from.
Well, and as I understand it, you were on Westchester University's first team of spoken word artists.
Yes.
And that was what, 2005?
Yes.
And the team actually came in 10th against many, many, many schools, which
Yes.
had to have been amazing.
It was incredible. I cannot express how amazing it is to see poetry outside of just your city, outside of your state. I've met people that are lifetime friends from all across the country because of that. It was incredible. I'm even surprised that we even placed that high, honestly, because we went up against some talent that they need their own show for that too.
Yes. And I understand you have a debut book that is in its second edition.
So it's a re-release.
Okay.
November 444. It's going to be available at the end of June, beginning of July. I want to say more so it's going to be the beginning of July. I'm re-releasing it because the first edition that came out, I love the fact that I published a book.
Yes.
I was not so fond of my actual editor. I feel like it was a rush job. And even though I love my book, I want it to be how I want it to be. So I let it be released. So that one we're just going to call a limited edition copy. Anybody that has it, congratulations. That copy is gone. The new version that's coming out, it's going to be a lot more organized to my liking. We're going to have different poems. We're going to add poems in there also. There's going to be a lot more artwork. It's fantastic. The way it's coming out, I love it.
Okay. Well, I would like to hear some of your poetry.
Okay.
That's primarily why we brought you on the program, but
So I'll start with this one. This one is going to be one of the poems that are in the book. It's called Clean Up. The other day I was cleaning up and I found your picture in my stuff. I went to throw it away but realized I couldn't. Instead, I stood there clutching the photo for dear life as a crazy flood of memories swept away my mind. I thought of every reason I loved you. I thought of every laugh, smile, and secret. I thought of every picture I had of you and where I always knew to keep them. I took a deep breath in and exhaled the pain of a wound that was scabbed over, not fully healed yet. I missed you. I miss you. It doesn't matter the years, months, weeks, days, hours, minutes, seconds, but who's counting? I really wish you could have been the remedy instead of the poison. But that day, I knew to throw the pictures away. Yeah, that.
Yes, there are times when you have to actually, wash
Yep.
your hands.
Absolutely. Delete
Say
the
we're
text
done.
messages, throw away the pictures, crop yourself out. If you look good in it, crop yourself out because, I feel like when you hold on to that kind of stuff, like it messes with you mentally, especially when it's something that you had no fault in,
And it's more important to make a decision than it is to fear having made the wrong decision.
Yes.
If you're afraid of the wrong decision, you make no decisions, and that's a decision too.
Absolutely.
And it's better to just.
I'm a firm believer in like peace and happiness. It took me a long time to be happy with myself. I was just everywhere, like from, being biracial to being queer to everything. I've always been like up and down with my happiness. And when I finally chose myself, whether it was love, whether it was a situation, whether it changed my whole outlook on life. Life became so much more beautiful. It became so much easier just to wake up in the morning and breathe the fresh air and just know who you are. I am who I am, and I don't allow anybody to come in between me and my peace.
Yes.
And my friends love that for me because I will walk away so fast.
Yes. Well, and when I come to situations and I find my feet are starting to move, I look down at my feet and say, oh, you really don't want to be here. Because I don't know about you, but there are times when I don't know what I think and feel until I write it out.
Mm-hmm.
So my second guide are my feet. And if I really don't have access to paper and pen, I look at where my feet are pointing, and if they're hurrying away, that's what I follow.
I always say poets should come with a warning label because we're going to write about you. We're going to write about you
yes.
if we're happy. We're going to write about you if we're sad. We're going to write about you if you make us mad. So I always find that if I start to write and the poems that I'm writing about that person are coming off like despair and sadness, it's like, oh, let my feet go. let my feet guide me away.
Yes.
If I'm writing and I just feel a sense of happiness and joy, and I just know that I'm in the right space, whether it be friends, family, relationship, the public, I'm in that right space. So that's where I go with that too.
Well, would you share some more of your poetry?
Absolutely. Speaking of being in the right space, this one is one of my favorites. It's actually one of the first ones I wrote back. So even though I've lived in Reading majority of my whole life, I did have 3 years in Georgia.
Okay.
It was fun while it lasted. I couldn't wait to get back to Reading, and I know people probably think I'm crazy for that. And I'm just like, you don't realize, you don't appreciate something until you've dealt with something else. Like I always was like, oh, Reading's this place, that place, this, and then I went to Georgia and I realized like, oh my gosh, Reading is like the suburbs compared to some areas of Georgia.
Yes.
And I missed being up here, from the pollen to the craziness. I missed it all because if we have allergies now in Georgia, the pollen is so bad in Georgia, it looks like snow. You can see tire tracks in it. So I was homebound most of the time. But this is one of the first poems I came back and wrote, and it's called You. I love the process of getting to know you, the ins and outs and knowing all the pieces that come together that form your beautiful mind. You have always wanted to be understood, so allow me to know the answers to the questions that unlock your heart without scaring you. Sometimes love that feels too good to be true feels like a setup, boo. And we all have small triggers, and it's inevitable that I might be the cause of one of these at some point, especially when it's that one thing that reminds you of that one time that has etched itself inside your mind and makes you shudder at the thought. But together we can create a new version of love's art, so let's communicate through it and place brushes to canvas to paint the beauty of forever, give Van Gogh a run for his money, help you forget everything you've learned over time that love is not. I want to be the reason you smile in the morning. And it may be cliche to say, but I want to be the reason when the sun shines through the curtains and the alarm starts ringing, you throw your phone across the room, cuddle your body into mine, and with morning breath whisper, 5 more minutes, please. I want our mornings to start with gentleness and breakfast and whatever else comes along with slow kisses to help keep your mind at ease. I want to give you that same feeling you get when you're in that puppy love phase in the beginning, when the first 365 days are supposed to be the most magical. I want you to allow me to give you 365 days times 365 years of learning your love languages. I want you to enjoy the sound of the breaking of any chains of hurt and pain that have kept you bound, holding back your ability to shine and fly. I want to show you what it feels like to spread your wings and fly over that wall you built for protection. I want you to feel what an imperfect perfection of love feels like for 365 lifetimes. So you can put your hand in mine and allow me to spin you and show off your beauty to God, because I know he knows what he did, but whew, look at what he did. You are amazing from the tip of your head to the heels of your feet, and trust me, there is no doubt that you brought this love inside of me that I thought was deceased. So when I tell you I will wrangle a star from the constellations, tie it tightly to a mountain, place us both on it before releasing the string, sending us into orbit, just so you can realize how much of a shooting star you are. Plus, from this view, you get to see the bow I've placed on the world for you. Just know that you deserve it.
Boy, I want to be the recipient of that poem.
That is, I feel like when you close the doors that are supposed to be closed, you're opening doors to allow what you are supposed to have in front of you. And when I closed all those doors and finally grew into myself and learned myself and loved myself, I attracted people that loved me for me, that just were there for me genuinely. I cut off a lot of friends. I cut off people that were in my life for years because I realized that they were a lesson and they were there for a purpose. And I appreciate their time in my life, but I had grown past that. So when I did that and I just allowed myself to sit within myself, I attracted different loves. And it was amazing. In fact, I attracted Burke's Bar. You guys, somebody said something, and next thing you know, Sandra reached out to me, and I was just like, "This is amazing."
Where did you meet? Did you meet Sandra? Did you meet?
It was Anthony.
Okay.
Anthony was like, "I recommended you to somebody because it was probably a couple months after I had just gotten back from Georgia," and I was like, "Okay." And Anthony was one of the ones that reached out. Anthony, Brad Waples, Noah Ayala, David, they all were like,
you got to go.
You're
to
back. It's time for you to come back. And so I jumped right back into it, and it's been amazing since.
Yeah, all those names are people who've been part of Burke's Bards in one capacity or another over the years. Would you share some more of your poetry?
Absolutely. So this poem is Smiley. If you were at the Poet Laureate competition,
the People's Poet Laureate competition, which was held in City Hall a few weeks ago, and was an amazing crowd.
Yes. That was
and we
incredible.
had 4 competitors, and you were one of the competitors.
Yes.
And we in the audience thought that you should have won, only because you were a crowd favorite.
Thank you.
Adrian Roman Perez actually won, and he's currently the People's Poet Laureate for 2 years, and we expect to hear good things from him.
Yes, Adrian's incredible.
But yes, share that poem, because if it's the one I think it is.
No, this one's Smiley. The other one is here. Smiley is just when I was coming into myself, I kind of broke down my personalities into their own names. So I tell everybody my mom was super excited to name me when I was little. She gave me 3 middle names on top of my first name and a double last name. So I was like, you guys try writing that on a little space that says sign your full name. No, my driver's license is 2 lines. So I've named this poem Smiley because I've broken down who Smiley is, who Aries is.
Yes, I remember this one.
Yes, so Smiley. Hey, I'm the poet Smiley, but my real name is Aries. Actually, my mother added 3 more to that, 1 first name and 3 middle. I guess you can say she was excited. So she said, you know what, Aries, Monet, London, Lorraine, that's who you are. But people still call me Smiley. Got all these names, but because I smile a lot, people choose to call me Smiley. But don't get me wrong, I love it. It's cool. Every time I hear, yo, what's up, Smiley, it makes me feel whole for once. A finally completed puzzle, because over these years, I feel like the pieces that make me me broke off to create their own adventures. So I decided to name each piece Aries, Monet, London, and Lorraine. All the different parts of me, but still one and the same. Aries is loving and calm, happy and cute, cuddly and clingy, affectionate and gentle. She finds love in the sunsets. The ocean cleanses her soul, but also she's deeply sensitive. She'll smile while crying. The happiest mask on the outside, even if on the inside she feels like she's dying. She's usually everyone's favorite, but requires the most protection. So when people try to hurt her, that's when Monet steps in. Hi, I'm Monet. The intellectual mastermind, a planner. Some of the plots I come up with in our defense, I'm surprised we're not in the slammer. I'm the one who figures it all out, puts the pieces together, writes the long text messages cursing someone out and then blocks them, return to sender. I'm the one that keeps our head up. I have a mouthful of venom. I'm the vocal problem. I smile when we're the angriest, the Joker mixed with a rattlesnake. My mouth is what gets me in trouble, but no one will ever check me, especially when London looms inside of all of us like a monster, but we'll get back to her. Hi, I'm Lorraine, named after our grandmother. I come out when we need guidance from all of our ancestors, meditator, peer mediator, and focus. When I'm calm, they assume it's Aries, so Lorraine goes unnoticed. Probably the most important part of us, honestly. I'm the one who binds Monet's tongue and turns rants into prayers. I see the brighter side in the dark even when it seems like it's not there. I'm the one that talks us off the ledge when we're done with trying. I'm the one that keeps us afloat when we feel like we're drowning. I'm the affirmations in the mirror, the mustard seed whisper that lets us know everything is going to be okay. And I pray every day, especially when we're trying to keep London at bay. Oh, hey, I'm London. I don't need any other part of us doing my introduction. I'm the part that comes out when it's time to have fun. I'm the seductive part, the lover part, the toxic one. Smooth and confident, strong and fearless. When we talk to you, I'm the one that holds the eye contact. I get what I want when I want all the time. I have a way with my words. I can convince a nun to commit a crime. Any attention we receive, I know it's all mine. If I smile at your girl and she smiles back, it's only a matter of time. And if you think you could check me, I know how to fight. No wonder all day they struggle to keep me in. That's why I'm most active at night. I'm the one they unleash during all of our heartbreaks. I'm the one they unleash because I keep us safe. I stand on business and I did not come to play. You ever see those cartoons of the devil that sits on one side and the angel on the other? I bet you can figure out which side I sit on. I don't hide it. I'm not undercover. If you mess with this piece of us, I'll mess with you back. Keeping me around is the ultimate life hack. I'm sorry about that. Smiley back. London is the hardest to keep at bay. Little to no emotion. She doesn't give about nothing. Of all the pieces of me, she's the one you want to run from. It's easy to be bad. It's harder to stay good, especially in the place that I come from. She's the demon that sits in all of us that we try not to unleash. One wrong flare of emotion and out comes that beast. I guess that's why I love when people call me Smiley, because I don't turn into none of them. Instead, I'm all of them for once, completed and free. I am me, smiling all the while.
I recently had an experience where my 2-year-old self integrated back into me as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get a little taste of what that is to be several people,
Mm-hmm.
all under one piece of flesh.
Yeah, it goes to that, I read this meme and it's like, one person can say that I'm the most incredible person in the world, and the other person can say I'm the worst person in the world. Believe them both. Because you get the version of me that if you're nice to me, you're going to get a nice version. If you're mean to me, you're going to get the irritated version. I'm not really naturally a mean person, but I'm not one that you can push over either.
Yeah.
So I kind of come with a warning label again. Poets come with warning labels.
Surgeon General's report.
There you go. But yeah, I understand that too. I actually had a very playful part of me come out the other day. I wrote a little poem for Mother's Day, and I called it Mother's Day times Edgar Allan Poe. I didn't print that. I can read it to you. I didn't
Oh,
print
go
that one
ahead,
out.
go ahead, yeah.
It's on my phone. Sorry to pull my phone out, guys. But this one was like a little fun wordplay because so much was happening at the same time. And I was just like, being a mother. Let me see here. There we go. All right, it's called Tired Mama Raven. Today was rough. I want no more. The kids run in. Please close my door. Their screams are loud. Their stomachs roar. Dinner's on the stove. They leave no more. Someone walk the dogs. Finish all your chores. Get your homework done. Sweep up the floor. Stop that fighting. Don't slam my door. Who lost the remote? Deep sighs galore. Shower and get ready for bed. I told you before. Bedtime's 9 p.m. Don't ask no more. Good night kisses. More love than before. Sweet dreams, mommy. Please close our door. One tired mama. Life's never a bore. Would I trade my family for anything? Quote the Raven, nevermore.
My husband's made his whole career about rewriting famous poems, and famous poets like Edgar Allan Poe.
I love Edgar Allan Poe. It's just so.
He actually was a munitions expert at West Point. That's what he studied. And you can tell that he's got you breathing and saying the words at his beat.
Mm-hmm.
There is a drive about what he puts on the paper.
Absolutely.
And you pay attention and speak in his rhythm.
Yes, yes.
And that's him reaching up from the grave.
It was just one of those things. I was just like, the kids were having a field day that day. We're cooking, and then they ate, and they left one. We made homemade dumplings that day, and they left one. It was, and it's okay. Like I love it. I loved everything about it. It was a great Mother's Day, so it was definitely one to write about, I should say.
Well, we've got 5 minutes left on the program. If you've got some more poems you would like to read,
Okay, so
please
I will give you Candy Girl. Candy Girl was, I want to say, the greatest hit of.
Yes.
It's risky, but it's an amazing poem, honestly. And fun fact, the candy references I did that morning.
Nice.
Everybody is very shocked about
Nice.
that. The candy references I
Nice.
did that morning of the competition, and I ran downstairs and I'm like, listen to this, and they're like, that sounds awesome. Okay, so here we go. Candy Girl. Her shower was so hot I could leave love letters on the mirror if I want. But tonight I felt it right to leave them written across her skin, her body just a glistening from the shea butter I just rubbed in. She's been telling me all day she's tired, so in this moment she just wants to relax. When I ask her which pajamas she wants to wear tonight, she flags me off like, forget all that. She knows what she's doing. She knows I love when she lays in bed naked, arms and legs spread, going in every angle and direction. She is fully extended sleep. I love the way this exposes her level of comfort with me. I admire the way that even in her sleep, I feel like she's teasing me. Because the way she's looking, I want to wake her, but I don't want to wake her. Her peace and rest are important to me. Plus, I know if I wake her, it's inevitable we'll fall into a really good rhythm and beat, and she may not want to go right back to sleep. Sun peeking in the morning, she'll hit me with the side eye, can you go get me some coffee, please? But she's so tempting. It's like having your favorite candy in front of you. I crave for permission to just have one piece, please. Her sheets are pushed off to the side, the smoothness of her chocolate exposed in the moonlight. I feel like I'm losing this fight. Babe, did you ruth me? I'm losing sight of just sleeping. Maybe it's this side of the bed. I prefer the left to the right. Let's switch. Instead, she wraps me in her arms and I enter her Milky Way. And let me just say, if she were to lift her head just a little, it doesn't even need to be halfway. Smile with one eye open and oh so politely ask me to drink from her cup. I'd devour her in one gulp, tease her nonstop. I'd twist and turn my tongue in directions that aren't even on any compasses. I'd place her hands behind my ears just to give her full range of motion, let her push and pull me into the depths of her cave that lead to her ocean, and I'd dive real deep just to have one piece. Have her screaming, give me a break as I separate her kit from her cat and make her crunch down on the pillow. I want to feel her liquid candy leaving trails down my chin, moisturizing my skin, becoming my favorite sugar scrub. I want to lick my lips like it's payday. While I watch her stiffen and release, I'll squeeze her thighs while she squirms in her seat. All she'll feel is her level of pleasure begin to peak, soul disconnecting from her body, floating way beyond this reality. Mars. She can't even speak. Her eyes roll back because she's entered her release, and I drink. Cheers to 100 grand slams. Her body was still trembling when she fell back to sleep. Woke up in the morning to her kissing me, trying to get a taste of both of our sweetest dreams. that was the one.
That certainly was.
Yes, yes.
You know, you strike me as having such an amazing life. Has there been a peak? Have you identified a spot where you said, "Wow, that," and then you'll climb another peak, I'm sure. But
so the journey I've been in, I've been like up, down, plateau, up, down, up, down. I want to say it's crazy to say, when I locked my hair, it was the moment that I realized I was peaking. And I was climbing, and I'm still climbing to this day. Like I haven't reached the ultimate peak that I want, but I still climb because I know that what's coming is for me. What's for me is always going to be for me. If it's not for me, I'm not going to have it. And I'm enjoying this climb. I haven't reached peak. I've hit a couple different peaks in life, but I haven't reached the peak I want to. And I've just been going and going and going.
Well, I'm impressed. I guess we have maybe a minute to 2 minutes left. So I've been talking with Aries Frank. Well, let me be correct. Aries Monet, London, Lorraine, Franklin Ortiz.
Yes.
The poet Smiley. You're on Instagram, right?
I am. The poet Smiley.
Yes. And you have a book coming out called November 444.
Yes.
I would love to see that book.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and there's a picture of it up
Yes.
on the screen. You have such a passion for storytelling. You have a passion for everything.
Yes.
And I'm totally impressed with that. Thank you so much for being my guest.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for inviting me. This was amazing. This was amazing.
Thank you. All right.